Sheepdrove Organic Farm is owned by publishers and environmental campaigners Peter and Juliet Kindersley. The Kindersleys made their home here over 30 years ago and slowly bought up land around them with the dream of recreating the original downland landscape, free of chemicals and growing their own food. That vision has now become a reality. Sheepdrove has become a centre for the most advanced ideas in organic agriculture. It's a model of environmentally responsible farming, producing healthy, delicious food from soil brought back to life naturally.
Our whole philosophy at Sheepdrove is to produce good, healthy, nutritious food without using chemicals at any point in the process. Farming for a long time has simply concentrated on quantity, quantity, quantity. It's not thought about the quality of what it's producing, the nutritional base of food, the health implications from chemicals and so on. And what we're trying to do is to create a model here that people can come and see and experience, where they see the crop growing in the field or the animal in the field, and then they can go to the restaurant and actually eat that food. One of the reasons for having our conference centre at Sheepdrove is to show all our visitors that there are other ways of farming. There are real alternatives to the industrial methods which have relegated food to being just commodities.
What farming is producing food, delicious food, from a particular soil. And farming has to understand that. And that is what this new building has done, just by giving us a kitchen. The food has to be doable, therefore it has to be seasonal. And we have to grow what grows best here. I really believe that food that is grown in healthy soils tastes better.
Sheepdrove offer a national service, delivering meat and poultry direct from the farm to the customer's door. The model for the service was the traditional family butcher's shop.
Having a shop means that the customer has a direct relationship with our butcher, who in turn has a direct relationship with the farm. This means that he can advise with real knowledge about what meat is in season and how to cook it.
It's food where you can guarantee that all the animals have been looked after properly and they've led a good life. That's as simple as you can make it. And if you're concerned with that and if you care about that, then this is the food for you. The big favourite, especially with the older generations, is I haven't tasted pork like this since X, maybe between the wars or even before.
They supply a growing number of restaurants, including Books for Cooks off the Portobello Road, run by Peter and Juliet's daughter Rosie and her French chef husband Eric. A new and exciting development for the Kindersleys has been the acquisition of Neal's Yard Remedies, which for 25 years has sold organic skincare and herbal remedies through their chain of shops and by mail order.
We now wild harvest at Sheepdrove and grow herbs for Neal's Yard to use in their new eco factory in Dorset. They hand make all their skincare and remedies there. This is a very exciting new development for the farm and very much part of our philosophy and what Juliet and I believe in.
It provides a clear, real example that you can see on the ground of the alternative to the intensification of agriculture that we have suffered for the last 50 years, an alternative to chemically driven agriculture, and one that is hugely successful. Sheepdrove is a wonderful example. I mean, what is good about organic is not only that there's a lack of pesticides on the fruit and veg which you finally buy in the shop, but it's good for animal welfare, good for the soil. This is a much more nutritious form of agriculture. That's the kind of farm that I would like to see everywhere.
Organic farming is the one system I know that really works with nature rather than working against nature. It understands that there are seasons, there are cycles, there are systems which we have to work in harmony with and not work against. Most agricultural systems work against nature and not with it.
And the cost of working against nature is high.
One has to remember that over the last 50 years, our countryside has lost 95% of wildflower meadows, 82% of partridges, 75% of skylarks, and 60% of natural woodlands, and 40% of hedgerows. And conventional farming isn't producing the best food. The mineral content of almost every conventionally farmed vegetable has declined, and mineral deficiencies affect our health.
Most of the processed food we eat is riddled with artificial chemicals, the long-term effects of which are still not wholly understood. And this has all happened in the last 60 years.
People often say, organic farming is an experiment. That's a great mistake, because what has really been the big experiment has been conventional farming with all its chemicals. Organic farming is not an experiment. It's a tried and tested system.
Organic farming works through a system called rotation, a cycle of crop growing and grazing that has been developed over thousands of years. Typically, a crop such as wheat, beans or triticale are grown for 3 years, followed by 3 years of forage crops for animals, such as grasses, herbs and clover. Clovers are used because they naturally build soil fertility, recycling nitrogen from the atmosphere and fixing it in the soil, so there's no need to add any chemical fertilizers. And as they feed, the animals also play their part in the natural cycle, cleaning the ground, helping with weed control, and returning precious fertility to help nourish the soil for the next year's crop. Every activity at Sheepdrove is designed to improve the range of habitats or biodiversity of the farm.
With this planned biodiversity comes huge benefits. Nature now does the work chemicals once did here. Wildlife margins prevent weeds entering the cereal crop.
These margins also boost the survival of certain types of flora and fauna by acting as an ecological reservoir, and they harbour insects which eat aphids and other pest insects in the crops, acting as a sort of homegrown pesticide strip. They're also a raptor food larder because they harbour voles and mice that the owls and kestrels live on.